Ndindoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingachatsi kubudirira Mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa My hitters don't die and real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' rise Cause we're born to win it I ain't saying
How the hell do I not have a deal? I swear this thing is a real dog. I play it fan off. The cowards that they can't feel. The wife try to console me like it's coming, baby, chill. She don't understand. I'm the only one that's real. I remember the third grade. Them kids, they had waves. I had them BDBs. You know that Zimbabwe ain't great. So they do shades. And your boy hit the stage, press play, and all the chicks was like, yeah. While boys was moving bricks, I was moving chips. If she gave me calculus, gave her a mouthful of it. Heat rose to this thing, boy, I bet on myself.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Want to welcome you to a fantastic and, of course, Fitness Friday today. Really excited for my guests who are in the building. I got Debra Berliner, who is here from Seattle Public Health King County, or Public Health Seattle and King County. Either way, she's here from Public Health. She's going to be telling us more about immunizations. And of course, we're going to be diving into COVID as we're seeing some COVID cases coming back up. So I'll be talking with her. And of course, later on in the show, we got our resident fitness coach, Deon BodiMeChanik Abdullah, who will be joining us later on. We're going to be talking about how you stay active when you're doing a fast, like me right now. So we get to dive into that topic later on in the show. But of course, it is the top of the show, y'all. So it's a great time for you to participate with us. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. If you can't watch our show right here, we also have you covered because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Y'all will find me on Google, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Apple Music. I mean, there's like 200 platforms. Whichever one is your favorite, go ahead and search for us and you will find us there. Well, of course, this is a topic that is hitting households now. People are getting COVID again. I'm happy to have Debra here to tell us more about it. Hi, Debra.
Hi, Trae. So happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you with us. I mean, so the first question I really have off the gate is, I feel like it's a yes, but tell us more about, COVID cases that are coming back now.
Yeah, it's a yes. I will say, we don't have the kind of data that we used to, because in the past, you'll remember when you had, so much as a tickle in your throat, you would go to a testing site, get tested. That data would get reported to us at Public Health, and we had a really good read on how many cases there were in the community. And now, most testing, it happens at home, and we just don't see the results of those tests. So we don't know exactly how many cases there are, but we do look at other metrics like hospitalizations. And we've been able to see over the past several months increase in the number of hospitalizations tied to COVID. It's leveling off, which is good news over the last few weeks, but we're keeping a really careful eye on that. And I'll note just anecdotally, I'm sure you've had the same experience. I just have a lot of friends, family recently who've shown up positive. Myself included, I managed to be one of those rare birds who made it through the first 3.5 years of the pandemic without getting COVID. And then she got me very recently. My husband too, same boat. He hadn't had COVID. We both got it. And, that's just our own personal story, but I'm not alone. And it's a reminder that COVID is still with us. The pandemic is officially over, but COVID is here to stay.
Well, I mean, I think it's some level of adjustment we all have to do, right? In terms of identifying that COVID wasn't just about a specific time. So how do we prepare ourselves moving forward? And now we're seeing a new kind of COVID variant. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so COVID is the virus that causes COVID. It likes to try to stay one step ahead of us. It is always trying to outsmart us. And, there are other diseases that we use vaccines to protect ourselves against. Take measles. If you get a measles shot, an MMR shot, when you are 4 years old, you are still going to have protection from that when you are 40. or 60, 80. That's because the virus that causes measles, it's really stable. It doesn't change. COVID is different. COVID is constantly trying to get past our immune defenses. So when we've been vaccinated, when we've had COVID in the past infection, we do have some immunity, but because the virus itself is changing, we need our vaccines to match the circulating virus. So right now, we're actually in a good place because we have a new vaccine that is a good match for the virus that's out there.
I mean, this is where I think the public has a hard time understanding some of these dynamics. I mean, even for me, right? It's like there was all of these requirements that were put in place. You know, my son couldn't play basketball unless he was vaccinated. I couldn't work in a certain place unless I was vaccinated. There's like a lot of this kind of adjustments we were all making. And it was like, okay, well, let me just, travel was, you had to show vaccination. So there was a lot that we were doing, I think, in our own personal lives to adjust and accommodate COVID, but it seems like it's a constant accommodation. So tell us more about who should be getting this new vaccine.
Yeah, those are really good points. I'm personally starting to think of COVID kind of like the flu. It's like our unwelcome guest. It's just going to be there. And especially, when we're spending a lot of time indoors, we're more likely to be susceptible to COVID. So this vaccine is for pretty much everybody, anybody 6 months and older. And it really doesn't matter what your vaccination history is. If you got vaccinated before, if you didn't, if you've gotten boosters, if you didn't, if you've had COVID, if you didn't, everybody, for the most part, can get this vaccine.
Well, I mean, you kind of addressed this a little bit in terms of, hey, it's always changing. But I'm, there's a lot of skeptics out there that are like, look, people got the vaccine, still got sick. What's the point of us even getting the vaccine if it's not really protecting us 100% from actually catching COVID? Tell us more about why folks should be thinking about the importance of this vaccine now. And, maybe some of the understanding behind folks getting the vaccine when it was supposed to be attacking that very virus and still catching COVID.
Yes, I hear you. This is a good question, and you are not the first person to ask it. I just told you that I had COVID recently. I'm fully vaccinated. I haven't gotten this updated booster. That is my weekend plan. But this updated vaccine. But up until now, I've stayed up to date, and I still got COVID. And the reason that I still have confidence in COVID vaccination is because that vaccine and the boosters I got afterwards kept me out of the hospital. They kept me from getting really seriously ill. They kept me from getting long COVID. And that actually, my personal motivations for getting vaccinated are, one, I don't want to spread illness to people with weakened immune systems, babies that are too young to get vaccinated, really seniors who may not have immune defense in order to fight it off. But also, I want to protect myself from those serious health outcomes. And long COVID is one that's top of mind for me because it can be really debilitating. That long COVID is the symptoms that last well after you have a negative test. So you might have fatigue, brain fog, muscle aches. None of it, it's nothing any one of us wants. And getting vaccinated is shown to prevent your risk, or to lessen your risk of developing long COVID.
Well, long COVID versus short COVID. This is very interesting for me because, we saw such a spike. We weren't prepared there, right? And so we saw this spike. We saw deaths. We see that. I mean, those things are still possible, is what you're saying. It's important. When you think about, where we can get this vaccine now, is it free? We're got used to free vaccines. Is this something that is continuing with this new COVID vaccine? And where can folks get it?
Yeah, great questions. For most people, it's not going to cost anything, but you do need to put a little more thought into where you go to get vaccinated. So in the past, the federal government was providing COVID vaccine, and that meant you could walk into any pharmacy, any mobile clinic, your doctor's office, and not worry about who was paying for it. But now that the emergency declaration has ended, COVID vaccine is now being managed, the purchase of it is being managed by the private sector. So when you get vaccinated, if you're an insured adult, your insurance is going to be billed. So you can go to your doctor still or your pharmacist. You just want to make sure that they're in network for you. And when you go, you're going to want to bring your insurance card. That's going to be required. If you are an uninsured adult, there are options too. So there is a program called the Bridge Access Program that ensures that everyone can have access to vaccine. CVS pharmacies, Walgreens pharmacies, and some other pharmacies and providers' offices like community health centers are all making vaccine available for uninsured adults.
Well, there we go. There's some options for everyone there. Debra, I really appreciate you bringing this information to light for me and our audience. Of course, if folks have more questions, I mean, where should they be going? Look right there. Let them know.
Yeah, I want to note too that kids in the state of Washington, we're really lucky. All children ages 0 to 18 can get COVID vaccine at no cost from most pediatric providers. Right now, I'll just note there are, as some of you may know, there are some delays in shipping that are affecting and supply that are affecting the whole country more or less. So we just urge you to check with your pharmacy or provider before going out to get your COVID vaccine to make sure they have it in stock, and then just hang in there. I know it's frustrating not to have it immediately available everywhere, but hopefully in the next week by week, we're going to see improvements. I encourage everybody to look at vaccines.gov. This is a federal website you can check to find COVID vaccine locations near you. And you can text your zip code to GetVax. That's GETVAX. And they will send you locations directly to your phone.
Ah, fantastic. Debra, thank you so much.
Thank you, Trae.
Absolutely. There we go, y'all, getting informed and educated about all things COVID. And now we get to shift the conversation to some other ways that we get to stay healthy and well with our resident fitness coach, Deon BodiMeChanik Abdullah. Coming up after this break, we're going to be talking all about the ways that we keep our bodies active while we're fasting. Y'all, stay tuned after this short break. You're watching The Day with Trae.
I learned about the new program through many different community organizations. The program, they're very good at making sure that you meet the right people. My favorite part would have to be the community building and also the volunteer opportunities as well. I've been working on my physical health a lot more. I've been intentional about that, and they're very big on that. I'm still learning how transformational it is because there's just so much opportunity. It's a great program and they will support you.
Visit the link at the end of this video to learn more.
Hey, I'm Besa Gordon. You may have heard my voice on Hits 106.1 or seen me on Converge Media, but now I'm coming to TV. I'm hosting the newest show on Fox 13 called Back to Besa. Check us out every weekend for the hottest topics, interviews, the latest trends, and uplifting stories. We're going to have so much fun, and teens, we got you too. Back to Besa Saturday nights, 10:30 on Fox 13, and Sundays at 10 a.m. on Fox 13 Plus.
Hello, it's Marcus Trufant here, and for the month of October, Burger Nation are coming together. The Trufant Jalapeno Burger is great. It's going down, and a portion of each burger sold is going right back to the community. Go Hawks! Let's make it happen.
Hadestown is the Tony and Grammy Award-winning Best Musical. It's an epic celebration of music, togetherness, and hope. A Broadway musical like no other. This is as good as it gets. Hadestown.
Playing the Paramount Theater October 31st to November 5th. Tickets at stgpresents.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get excited because when Deon comes on, we get to talk about all the things. What's up, Deon BodiMeChanik Abdullah? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Always a good day to be here. Always a good time to be here.
Yeah, so glad to have you with us. And, I was starting this cleanse and I'm like, wait, your energy lessons. And I just want to start talking about how we keep our bodies engaged and active when we are doing something like a detox or a cleanse or something like that, where it's like, oh, I don't have as many calories as I used to have. Maybe they're doing like a calorie deficit type of diet or something that's changing that. How do we, stay engaged when we have lower amounts of energy?
Right. Great question. Great question. And really, we kind of get to the premises of what exactly is a fast, right? We're kind of understanding what that is. We understand what fast food is, right? You need something quick, substance really quick. And when you're going on a fast, sometimes the connotation of it is a quick result. You get what I'm saying? So a fast, although it's a major change in the dietary thing, because usually it's a huge diet restriction. Sometimes there's a time element. There's a period of time where you don't indulge at all. And those are all great factors to take, but you really want to understand your caloric burn. You always want to understand that your life doesn't change, right? Like you still got to go to work. You still have children. You still have these responsibilities. You're still a spouse. You're still an employee, or you run a business. You still have these energy demands that you need to make, and you have these goals, right? Do we want to run a marathon? Are we doing for a weight gain or a weight loss or whatever have you? So we have all these goals. That's a demand. The first thing we want to do is understand what our calorie output is. Now, that's usually just a formula. And then once again, of course, with us, we have these consults all the time where we're going to tell you those caloric outputs, just during those processes. But what you want to understand is when you marry a fast, when you agree to go into a fast, you want to have those caloric things in mind. And also, when you're not in those eating times, I wouldn't match a fitness time directly with that, because many times with fast, there are times when you are eating and everything else, and it's within those time frame brackets a few hours prior or before where I would engage in fitness, because you can refuel or you can replenish. But with you're in this desert or this drought of no food or nutrition, and you deplete something with very rigorous activity, especially if you don't understand your caloric output. If you're already low and you go do a crazy thing on the treadmill and go throw some weights, and you still got a whole day left without nutrition, you're going to run into fatigue symptoms, headaches, muscle cramps, dehydration, and it's going to kind of do the reverse. You may have GI problems, and you're not doing the best practice for your body.
Yeah, see, this is where I think there's so much insight that comes into it, because ultimately, we see a lot of fads. They come and go, right? I mean, you see it's like, oh, we want to focus on no carbs, or we're doing this or that. There's a lot of different options out there, and because we live in this like kind of capitalistic world, I feel like there's an opportunity for the plethora of information to flourish, but then it's on the individual to pick and choose which one is best for them. And this is where your guidance comes in. So tell us more about some of the ways that you actually engage with a client to understand their specific caloric burn and things like that, because it's different for every person, right?
Absolutely. Yes, you're absolutely. Your gender is going to play a role. Are you menstruating? Are you pregnant? You know what I mean? Your race is going to play a role. Your your genetics plays a huge role in just your physical being. Then we have society. These are not everybody has the same job. Everybody has the same education level. Some jobs are more rigorous, right? Some jobs I'm a construction worker burning way more caloric burn and everything else, and swinging that axe around. But some jobs, I'm at a computer desk where my posture is so locked in and it's a different type of strain is what we want to do, but it's a different type of caloric burn. So I always tell people is match a fast with your meal prep and fitness demands. Always understand that the fast is something to jumpstart something that's going to be permanent. The permanentness is the meal prep. Because ultimately what a fast is to kind of get you there, that you're supposed to be eating cleaner afterwards. You don't literally go back to the same thing usually. You're supposed to eat with a more conscientious objective when you have when you have a meal plan. So your fast is almost a way to develop the discipline and tolerance to create and sustain a meal plan prep. And once again, the fitness coincides directly with that nutrition, because once again, nutrition is the gas. Fitness is the roadmap to it. Now, once again, you need to have the gas money and the gas to even go to Vegas, right? And understand that that the fitness is literally the road and the trip to Vegas. You know what I mean? It's the actual, you know what I mean? You're going to have the fun. You actually get those muscles and everything else. That nutrition is that gas, that oil to actually literally get you there. And without understanding the appropriate miles, because you didn't understand the miles and you only brought $50 of gas, you're going to end up somewhere in Oregon. You know what I mean?
Wow. No, I mean, this right here, the way that you make it and map it out makes total sense to me. But also, too, there's these elements where it's like for someone like me, I'm like, man, just tell me what to do so I can do that. You know, when you have a client like that who's like, look, I just need it mapped out for me. I'll follow the map as long as I know my step-by-step instructions, right? That's something I'm always looking at is the directions. Like, I'm like, before I just hit start on my map, I need to know where it wants me to go, right? So there's all these step-by-step processes and taking on an opportunity to do a detox or a fast. I mean, our bodies are compiled with so much that if we don't kind of do this, sometimes we're just letting it pile all in and we don't realize that. So how do you create those step-by-steps for clients so that they understand exactly what it is they need to do?
Right. And understanding, and even the step-by-steps, and this is sad part, I have to say, but everybody, it's not as simple. If you want your plan, it's going to be really complex. I'm about to give you a whole nutritional layout with a whole caloric breakdown. I'm going to get you a fitness that tell you what type of fitness trains you're going to be working out in. I'm going to give you a sleep pattern, tell you when your REM sleep is sleeping in. I'm going to assess your muscles. As you can see, I can map it all out to you and give you a whole Bible of information. And sometimes the bulk of information can also be confusing, which is the irony part. But I also want to tell people it is simple. So I tell you, take simple concepts. What you want to understand is the average domain of toxic foods. Fast food, processed food. Understand that when you go out to eat, the portion sizes are just going to be bigger. Just apply that rule all the way around. If you're going out to eat, your portion size is bigger, more calories than you need. If you're getting fast food, it's more toxic chemicals, more processed food. If you shop the middle of the aisle in the grocery store, more processed, more perimeter, more whole foods. Right now, I can make that market so complicated by telling you the type of greens and the type of purples to do. But instead, what I'm going to tell you to do is eat the rainbow. Oh, you haven't seen a yellow in a minute. That's okay. You start incorporating a yellow vegetable or fruit. I haven't had a red one in a while. Like when you start to look at your food, oh, I don't see no blue. I haven't seen no blue in a few days. That will correct you. Not the simple thing that you didn't get this particular ingredient, because there's 1,000 ingredients out there and 1,000 workouts. Now tell people, did you get any physical fitness in today? Your body will tell you when you're getting a burn. And sometimes you don't have to know like the 10 workouts, every rep, every set. You know, you get those by need as you're going to get them, because the simplicity of it is also in the understanding. So the overall goal I try to tell my clients is eat and live with a conscience. If your conscience is on goal, then you should feel weird if you're going to get no physical engagement. That doesn't always mean the gym. Find a chair, do some squats, do some lunges, and repeat that 3 circuits. You'll be surprised what work you get, like I said, with the kitchen thing. But that's because you're thinking about it. And when you're eating pizza, it doesn't take no rocket science. You look at Pizza Hut, no Subway, okay. Let me take no whole wheat bread options. You'll start to make these things. You know what I mean? And when you start to think like that, that's when the results are coming, because it's in the consistency.
Yeah, and those adjustments are key, because that for me is where that's kind of the break between, you know, doing something as like a quick thing and then doing something that becomes like a lifestyle change.
Right.
And that is exactly for me where I'm like, okay, how can I be more mindful about what I'm consuming into my body, because I need certain fuel and I need certain foods to move me through. And so as I think about this kind of master cleanse, it's been out there for such a long time. You know, it's lemon, cayenne, maple syrup, and water. You do it for, 10 days or whatever. But it's cleaning the body, the liver, it's cleaning your intestinal walls. There's some real specific benefits that you get from doing this kind of detox. How do you then suggest that folks kind of ease back in to, you know, once they kind of get their healthy foods down, because you're right, they want to ease back into their eating, but then how do they ease back into their full-on workouts, Deon?
Right. And that's a good one, right? So how you ease on into those full workouts is really along with, once again, with the nutrition. The proper fuel determines the distance you can go in the gym. So once you get that general science down, then we understand. So the moment that we are completing with a fast, you'll say we're done with our fast, we're eating a little bit more calories. Now you know that there's more money in the bank. There's more gas in the tank now. So I would increase, so if I was doing 2 sets, I would increase it to 3 sets. Or if I'm just doing 2 sets, maybe I just add 2 more reps to each one. Now, the one thing I do tell people is don't jump into it. Don't just, things over, I'm running 10 miles now. No, you know what I mean? Let's go up in 5-pound increments. Let's add maybe 2 or 3 reps to it. Let's add 1 more set, right? Feel it. If that feels good, come back that next day or that next fitness day and add on more to it and build upon it. And what you're going to do is your body's going to adjust the appropriate way. You won't shock your system, and it's going to be able to handle the load that you're going to be placing on it. And the progression is going to be amazing. The fatigue level is going to be there. You're going to recover a lot better. You won't get these muscle movement and pain imbalances. And once again, you won't hurt your system by depleting it of calcium, magnesium, sodium, because the proper nutrition doesn't match the caloric outtake. So you end up with all these side effects like these cramps and all that stuff, because then your body becomes, have you ever tried to run with a cramped foot? And that shows you the power of the nutrition and fitness element. You could be super trained, super everything else. A cramp will take you, shut you down. You won't be able to walk another step, solely because you misdiagnosed the gas. And once we got that, the moment you're off the cleanse, if I'm eating more, I can do more. Always say that. And even to the contrary, if I ate too much, run that excess off. That's a good thought to have. If everybody had that thought, I'm telling you, the diseases would go sky down just with the thought. The thought would make you automatically do 100 more squats automatically, because you're just thinking about it.
See, there we go. There's some real tips we can all use. We can change our mind frame to really engage ourselves in our body and physical activity. Deon, always a pleasure. Of course, if folks are wanting to connect with you, become a client, connect with Holistic Coalition, let them know how they do it.
Let's go on. So yes, connected with us always. www.holisticcoalitionnw.com. It's a good one. We are now with Rival Fitness, Black-owned gym, a lot more facilities and a lot more equipment. So we're really bringing the holistic element to the whole fitness realm. Once again, you can find us all on that website. Also at the event, there's a Rain Man Classic, big, huge basketball tournament. I'm going to be there folding up bodies all day. So please, if you're in town, please come and see that. Also catch me here at Fitness Fridays all the time. Remember, y'all, it starts in the mind, and the mind determines your best nutritional outcome and your best fitness outcome. All right.
There it is. Deon, thank you so much for joining me today. Always a pleasure. Yes. Oh my gosh. Y'all, there goes some amazing tips we can all use, and especially for me, because I'm like, I need to map all of this out, make sure I'm doing the right things and keeping my body engaged. Y'all, I get to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
I learned about the INU program through many different community organizations. The program, they're very good at making sure that you meet the right people. My favorite part would have to be the community building and also the volunteer opportunities as well. I've been working on my physical health a lot more. I've been intentional about that, and they're very big on that. I'm still learning how transformational it is because there's just so much opportunity. It's a great program, and they will support you.
Visit the link at the end of this video to learn more.
Hey, I'm Debra Berliner. You may have heard my voice on Hits 106.1 or seen me on Converge Media, but now I'm coming to TV. I'm hosting the newest show on Fox 13 called Back to Basics. Check us out every weekend for the hottest topics, interviews, the latest trends, and uplifting stories. We're going to have so much fun, and teens, we got you too. Back to Basics Saturday nights, 10:30 on Fox 13, and Sundays at 10 a.m. on Fox 13+.
Hello, it's Marcus Trufant here, and for the month of October, Burgermaster and the Trufant Family Foundation are coming together. The Trufant Jalapeno Burger is great. It's going down, and a portion of each burger sold is going right back to the community. Go Hawks! Let's make it happen.
All right,
Hadestown is the Tony and Grammy Award-winning Best Musical. It's an epic celebration of music, togetherness, and hope. A Broadway musical like no other. This is as good as it gets. Hadestown.
Playing the Paramount Theater October 31st to November 5th. Tickets at stgpresents.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I got to give a huge shout out to my guests today, Debra Berliner and Deon BodiMeChanik Abdullah, both of them sharing with us some ways that we get to stay healthy. On one end, vaccines are important and COVID is ever changing. So that's why you're seeing a new vaccine out here. And that's why the boosters came out. And people are like, man, I'm good. I keep getting sick and I have all these things. That's because it's ever changing. So they now have a new vaccine. Go ahead and go to vaccines.gov. Get all the information you need to find where you can get the vaccine near you. And also, y'all, huge shout out because Deon just brought some understanding of when we do these fasts, when we do these detoxes or these cleanses, there's some ways that we get to stay active by keeping our bodies moving and understanding that although we have less calories, it means we do a little bit less, but not that we don't do anything. So be encouraged and inspired, as I was by my guest today, to find the ways to keep yourself healthy so that you too can stay in the game and see yourself as a part of the solution. For me, y'all, until Monday at 11 a.m. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.